And I'm stoked that you read the book, reviewed it. Did you do the Audible or the?
Yeah, the Audible.
And did you do that with your wife together?
No, we just kind of ended up doing it at the same time, but through at different,
Different
ways.
times. Yeah, I've listened to audiobooks with Deanna, especially when we were like on the road so much, and that was cool experience to listen to them together and independently. Awesome, awesome. And is there anything that you wanted to talk about during this time?
Yeah, I mean, what I feel like you would be best to help me with where I'm at is making an extremely long story short. This kind of spiritual journey I found myself on the last couple of years has put me in an amazing place, and I have a lot of gifts and things that have come up, but I'm struggling to express those, as my new personality. Like the people that knew me from a few years ago, that person doesn't even really exist anymore. And this new person that I am, which would be a great benefit to a large number of people, I'm just having a hard time making that.
Awesome. All right. So this is and I think this is actually this is an awesome topic because I imagine a lot of people can relate when one person becomes a better person. Basically, they go through such a quantum leap of self-acceptance and self-expansion that they all of a sudden may appear as a completely different personality than they were a few years ago or a few months ago, depends on the person. In your case, maybe a few years ago. And you're having a bit of a challenging time showing up as authentically as you can because it's so different than to how these people used to know you. Is that right?
Yeah, and it's gotten better over the last couple of months. A certain things have become so profound that it's almost hard to kind of keep it to myself. So like my in-laws are kind of in on it now and stuff like that. But even like my parents and my family, and I'm self-employed. I have a lot of customers and things like that, and it's like I live two separate lives. I live the life of the people that know me through work and through family, and I'm that way, but internally and with a few select people, I'm a completely different, spiritual being. You know what I mean, for lack of kind of a better word. I don't talk about this much, so it's kind of hard for me to kind of find the words even.
Yeah. Well, I'm stoked on this line of communication because I think you're talking about something big for a lot of people, and it is a big thing for me. It's actually what I imagine. If there, a lot, maybe since you own your own business, there's a script for like a marketing pitch or a business that there was a problem and this business solves that problem. There's a pain point and this business solves that pain point. And it's funny, I don't typically relate to like calling it a problem or a pain point because I sometimes think there's a slippery slope and a temptation to leverage fear to gain people's interest. It's such an easy trigger point that obviously the news for instance is so dialed into this that they understand that fear is an easy way to captivate people's attention. But then I also see the manipulation in that, whether it's conscious or not. And long story short, if I had to guess what tribe design and breaking normal are serving people for, is actually to bridge the gap of exactly what you're talking about. And I'm happy you're putting it into words. It's like if someone's watching this video and you find yourself showing up as one person with your family and maybe as another person at work, or maybe as another person when you're with your kids, or maybe as another person at church, and it goes on and on and on. I think the more mask that someone wears unconsciously, the heavier they are. So I see you're aware that there may be a bit of a different showing up in different environments. And I'm aware of how that might have been for me, much more so in the past and much less consciously in the past. But I even noticed, there is a difference of how I show up potentially in this phone call compared to how I might show up with Deanna right after this phone call. And I think rather than thinking there's anything wrong with that, I believe the best thing I can do and we can do and you can do is just keep bringing as much awareness to that as possible. And rather than thinking there is something like, yeah, it might not be an issue. It might be very important for us to be able to wear a mask on purpose, just as like a chameleon has its instinct and how important that is. Doing it on purpose versus doing it by habitual regurgitation is totally different things. And it sounds like you're not doing that. So I just hear that you're wanting to maybe even bridge the gap even more. If there's any gap that's unconscious of you showing up, maybe because there's any fear or something like that blocking you. Like if I don't, maybe there's been a lot of fear to me around like really expressing my true opinions about culture or God with my family. But that's real. I think that's a difference. Like I think it's very important for me to do that now after talking to you. Like I want to get more real with my parents. Like all of a sudden I'm scanning my own self. I'm like, who am I not as real about certain topics with? And I'm stoked you're asking me that. And I think just bringing awareness to why I might be doing it. With my parents, it might be because I'm trying to hide something. But with people I work with, it might be because I'm inspiring them. This is my team of inspiration, and this is my team. Like we're blazing a trail, and maybe we're not here to be so caught up with our emotions, but almost more like creating our emotions because we're taking action on this idea and this creative constraint of this job. But with my family, it's like my parents, I want my daughter here, and I remember a future of her being fully, like not really feeling the seduction or temptation to hide anything from me. So I want to show up that way with my parents. And I'm wondering, is anything coming up for you as I kind of explore this out loud? Is this answering sort of what you were asking?
It's almost like just trying to avoid the conversation. You know what I mean? Because I've detached myself enough that what they necessarily think of me doesn't affect me. But it's just avoiding that, and it's not even a confrontation. Like being a Reiki master now, my family had no idea of any of that. You know, that was years in the making. And now I started lecturing about it, and they saw my name in the paper for a lecture I was giving, and that was their introduction to my spiritual roots, right? So what's this? Who are you? What happened? So just trying to avoid those conversations just for the sake of avoiding them.
So yeah, what I'm hearing is like in the metaphor of the book of check engine lights, if I find myself trying to avoid, that is my check engine light to aim, like go there now, let's do that right now. That's what I'm taking away from this, and I'm thinking is that what you're kind of feeling as well? That if
I feel like I'm right on that edge, and that's what I was hoping that if we could get to this, your next retreat, and your book really opened my eyes to this, and that this is literally the threshold for me, that everything that I want and that I'm capable of is just right on the other side of being more open and authentic about who I am and where I'm at, kind of thing.
Shoot. Yeah, so I'm realizing that if I am avoiding some sort of interaction with someone that I care about, maybe the faster that I flip the script and start aiming for that, like making that top priority. So rather than like putting this off, win, do that thing that I'm like putting at the bottom of the list, just take it to the very top, do that now. And then I imagine that is like, that's an idea to your question. That's an idea for me to your question. And maybe it's an idea for a lot of freaking people. If a lot of people on planet Earth right now go straight to the conversations that are hardest to have, that are most important to them, what a different way that humans are going to be communicating with each other.
Sure. And I would imagine that it's probably not nearly as bad as we would think it is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that our anticipation of it would be. But we're never going to know unless we try, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you. We're really about 11 minutes in here, and I think that like just our quick communication here is really even giving myself more clarity on the brand of Breaking Normal and what we do at Tribe Design, because a lot of times it's a bit challenging to put in words. I see it, what I see it as a pattern of liberation, continuous liberation, even if someone they catch themselves in a self-imposed prison or wearing a mask. with the keys at the tip of their nose to find out, well, am I doing this on purpose? Do I want to continue doing this? Am I happy here? Can I come back here? It's just like more awareness, more the awareness being the volume button to consciousness rather than categorizing everything. So thank you for, I feel like my awareness has been amplified through our communication.
Run, guan, guan, guan. Run, guan, guan, guan. Run, guan, guan, guan. Run, guan,